Hello everyone and welcome to another News Coolum video and another plug side chat. I wanted to talk about something really quick that affects really all electric vehicle drivers and owners, and that is, to put it simply, charging spots are not parking spaces. And I think the sooner we sort of have a change of mindset in that regard, the better it will be for everybody involved. Because what's happening right now is we're seeing a lot of EV owners who treat charging locations as parking spaces. And that's a really bad way of looking at things right now, because if we do that, what we're essentially saying is we need to put out far more of an infrastructure than what's actually necessary to support a 100% transition to electric vehicles. And that's what makes that transition appear so daunting. You know, you're talking about a difference between billions of dollars worth of infrastructure necessary versus trillions of dollars of infrastructure that would be necessary to simply treat every parking space as a charging location or every charging location as a parking space. I don't know why it would take such a shift in mentality, but I'm seeing it even from people who have been driving electric vehicles for a very, very long time. And I think part of the issue is there's a difference between the level 2 public chargers and the DC fast chargers. Because one thing that I will say is there are parking spaces that provide charging, and then there are charging spaces. And we need to make a distinction between the two. I was speaking with a fellow EV advocate, a friend that's local, and he's been driving a Volt for years and years and years. And he said, I want to be able to pull into a charger, plug in, and walk off for hours at a time and return to my car, and basically use that location as a parking space while I'm off doing whatever it is I want to be able to do. And I think DC fast chargers should be equipped in the same way. And when I asked him, well, would you simply park in front of a gas pump and then walk off somewhere else? And there was a bit of bewilderment in his look, because I don't think that that mindset has actually clicked with a lot of people. Right now, yes, we have slower DC fast chargers and slower charging vehicles. Even if you look to Tesla, right, you're talking about vehicles that you're going to be stopped a minimum of 20 to 30 minutes charging. So we're saying a maximum of 120 kilowatts. Yet, as I showed, we now have 350 and faster kilowatt chargers now being installed, readily available. We're going to get to a point where pulling it up to a DC fast charger and plugging in and just leaving your car there is going to be about as odd as pulling up to a gas station or a gas pump and leaving your car there for 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't go into a gas station and just hang out for an hour as your car sat in front of a pump, especially not if it was busy. And we shouldn't be treating public chargers the same way. It should be considered the same way as we consider disabled parking spaces or loading zones where you're only there, pickup and drop off zones where you're limited to 5, 10, 15 minutes, and it's marked on the curb. You're not dwelling there. And when we're going to businesses and they're adding this infrastructure basically to benefit their customers, right? Well, those charger speeds should be matched to the business needs, because they're lending you spaces in their parking lot that are now, again, no longer parking spaces. They are fueling spaces, and that fueling time matches the expected dwell time for that business. So sure, maybe movie theaters will have level 2 charging. Sit-down restaurants might have 50 to 150 kilowatt charging. Fast food restaurants might have 150 to 300 kilowatt charging. But the charging speed and the dwell time matches the expected dwell time for the business. We start seeing these gas stations replacing gas pumps. And they're going to be putting in chargers. Well, they're probably going to want to use the fast 350 to 400 kilowatt chargers, maybe the Porsche 400 kilowatt chargers that they were demonstrating, or the Tritium 475 kilowatt chargers. Those are the types of chargers that convenience stores and gas station locations would want to install. Again, not a parking spot, a refueling spot. You're only spending as much time there as the business that's hosting that charger would like you to spend there. Again, I think it needs to be a paradigm shift. You know, good on Tesla. They're actually starting to enforce idle fees. So does Electrify America. So I think this is a necessary step, and it's a necessary thing to change the mindset of EV owners away from thinking that all charging locations are just parking spots where you can dwell all day if you want to. And I think it needs to be enforced with heavy fines that can help pay for the chargers, and towing if you're a repeat offender. And I think that will change the icing issue as well, where we see internal combustion engine vehicles parked in locations, but also other plug-in vehicles, right? I don't want to see a Tesla Model 3 parked in front of a DC fast charger that they can't use. I don't want to see a plug-in Prius parked in front of a DC fast charger that they cannot use. It's not a dedicated parking spot for you. It's not your little HOV sticker gift that you get to ride in the fast lane because you're driving a clean car. It's none of these, silly little promotions or perks. These are there to enable electric vehicle drivers to travel and use their electric vehicles to replace internal combustion vehicles. Period. There's no getting around that. And so I think, like I said, as a unified community, the more we start to push both each other as electric vehicle owners. I'm not going to park in a supercharger stall, not unless Tesla opens it up for public use, right? And like I said, I don't want a Tesla without a CHAdeMO adapter parking in a DC fast charging stall that I might need to use. And again, if that takes fines and towing, then so be it. We shouldn't have to leave stickers on each other's windows, or, it shouldn't be left to private citizens to enforce this. I'd like to hear what you think. Have you had situations where you've been iced or blocked from chargers, whether it's internal combustion engine vehicles, other EV owners, people who are maybe done charging but they're still occupying the space, and maybe what you think should be done about it, or if I'm being too harsh and that maybe we should just be treating them all like parking spaces, and you should be able to dwell as long as you want without actually plugging in or charging. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and thank you for watching.